drinking, bro. Drinking sucks ass, man. You need to just get like stoned and you could get some edibles or some shit and like drop them
Nah,
before
but
the
the
show,
drinking
bro.
still
Fuck drinking.
hits.
You
The
ain't really.
drinking hits when if you can get to the buzz level. If you can get to the buzz level, not
Uh,
necessarily the drunk level where I'm just like an asshole and just turn into a complete different person, like mostly people do. Like I like being as
I think we
easy,
all
like
can. I think we all agree that the little buzz is good, but not.
right.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
like no
yeah.
one likes someone that overdoes it, blah blah blah. But you gotta save money and you gotta have a good time at the same time. Like
All right, there.
I'm gonna try it out. Like it's not gonna hurt me. Like,
All
but
right.
we're gonna record right now. Everything,
Yep,
guys.
I'm
It's
recording right now on my OBS there, and we'll premiere later on this evening. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Me, Paul 3, Dr. Dr. Earl, Paul 3, and the Mike, the great YR. We're not live right now, but we're doing this show ahead of time. And tonight we're going to, well, actually, what we're doing is paying homage to the late, great Phil Donahue, the talk show legend who passed away this past Sunday at the age of 88. We want to take a look at his life and career, as well as some of the other talk shows that soon followed after he made his mark, like
yeah. So
Ricky Lake.
basically like, it's kind of like I wasn't born around Phil. I mean, I don't know what necessarily year, but I don't remember watching it. But I do remember watching a lot of talk shows like
Yeah. So
Sally
Jesse
Jesse.
Raphael, Ricky Lake, Rwanda Watts, Richard Bay. Remember him? Of course, we cannot
No, I
forget the
don't.
late. Oh, I know he. I guess I only seen snippets of his shows there. His was kind of like the shock, surprise, laughable, comedic, kind of like what Jerry Springer had at the same time there. And also
Yeah,
rest in
Phil
peace to
Donahue era is a little that's before my time a little bit. I come from the Jerry Springer, Maury type of vibe. That's really
Yeah,
where the
Maury too.
generation that I
Yes.
come in.
Maury Povich.
Yeah,
Got to give
Maury.
credit to him, the master of the DNA. We got to give a props out to some of the
Steve
talk show hosts.
Wilkos.
Steve Wilkos, yes, credit to him.
Yes.
But he stands out most because he's a former police officer. He was a head of security or director of security for the Jerry Springer Show for many years. And I guess there's an episode where he filled in
And
for
it's real,
Jerry.
bro. Like that shit is so much more real. I feel like, or less scripted than Jerry Springer.
Yeah,
Even though, like, if you think about it, like Steve Wilkos, and well, I mean, I don't know. Like, you tell me, Brown. Like when they started doing lie detector tests
yeah, polygraph test,
slash
yes,
paternity tests,
yes.
when they started doing that, what did is that was that a Phil Donahue thing, or who started that
No, I
first?
don't.
Was that Maury Povich?
I think maybe Maury Povich.
Ah,
I think maybe Maury Povich may have been the starter of that trend because it's followed ever since. I mean, there's a talk show host named Camaro. He's done it a few times. I know it was
Kamala.
used. It's also was used on the show Paternity Court a couple occasions as well, involving paternity cases, who slept with who slept with what. But I think it fits to say that both Steve Wilkos and Maury Povich are like the masters of the lie detector tests that they have on their programs. And believe it or not, the I know people try to say that it's rigged and everything else. Not necessarily. Polygraphs nor DNA tests do not lie. Period. Now, Phil Donahue, I remember watching him a few times back in the 70s. He started out in 1967. He retired in 1996. He also was a best-selling author as well. He was married to actress Mario Thomas for a good number of years, and he
So
had a
you could
lot.
say we could say Brown real quick that so the people know that Phil Donahue was officially like the first talk show host with like people, families coming on. Would you say that?
I think it fits to say there. I guess it fits to say because he had a lot of issues. He also had a lot of interesting issues as well. You remember the show NYPD Blue when it debuted somewhere in the middle of the 1990s? He had a he had an episode discussing the content of that program, and this was before the show made its debut on ABC television. He also was one of the main guys to take
He
a look
worked
at.
on. He like produced the show. Like he
I think
knew about
so.
it.
I think so. He was a producer on the show just as well.
What?
I think so. He also he wasn't a producer on NYPD Blue, but he did cover he talked to some of the actors, the creator of the show about some of the content because back then, bitch ass were not allowed on TV around that time. But this is around the early 1990s.
Bitch ass. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, in fact, one of the traits they talked about was every new cast member showing their bare ass on the tube there. And
Yeah, I
some
remember
parti-
that being a hot button topic. Yeah, I remember that being a hot button thing about somebody showing their ass on that show.
Yep, I
But
guess
I
it's
back
And
like
then
then I
remember
original.
never
back
watched
then,
that.
guys, the TVs were smaller. Like back in the '90s, where me and Paul 3 were in our prime.
Hmm
Or no, not in our prime, but we were growing up as children of the '90s. Me and Paul 3. And the TVs were small. They weren't these big widescreen things you hang on your wall. Like
The
you
big
know,
wide screens, I know, with the flat screens and that,
it's
they were
more.
basically
It's
basic.
more. It's more. If you got a 50-inch TV or whatever, maybe a 48-inch. It's pretty much life size what you see on TV. And if you're a child watching a TV, it's probably real to you.
Almost
Wrestling was
real.
real
And this is way
as a
before
child.
and this is way before HD TV, by the way, I should say as well.
Oh yeah, I was still
As
back in
me,
the day. I was still using one of those console TVs. Remember the whole console? It had the
Yes.
speaker and it was
Yep.
like all
with the
wood.
Exactly.
wood,
I still
Yes.
used those back in the day.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
hmm Those were the things back then.
Yep.
And
I
I
used
guess,
that for years in my living room.
and also let's give Donahue credit for this. You remember the WWF sex scandal that broke out in 1992? Donahue was one of the first guys to cover that situation.
With the Ring Boy scandal in WWF, is that what you're talking about?
Yep, exactly. A couple
Yeah.
years before the steroid scandal, where Vince McMahon was put on trial, could have been sentenced for how many years in prison?
Credit card.
Yeah, I do remember the Ring Boy thing. That was pretty fucked up. I'm pretty sure like a couple people may have got arrested out of that whole deal.
Well, I don't know if anybody got arrested, but I do know that I remember back. It took how many years to realize that this shit went on. We just didn't really know about it because excuse me, because a lot of people would come up with all these scenarios to get back at the company for letting them go, for decreasing their paycheck and such, and they probably came up with these allegations as a form of revenge. But now with Pat Patterson coming out of the closet on that reality show Legends House of the WWE Network, it all makes sense now.
Which is a great show, by the way.
Yeah.
I never watched that shit. I never watched that show, bro.
I only saw one episode. That's where they had as when Patterson came out of the closet. They had Howard Finkel, Roddy Piper.
You know why? Because like I haven't fully switched over to like all apps, bro. I'm still a cable TV type of person. So if it's not on cable, sometimes I don't. If I hear about something, yeah, I'll go out of my way to watch it on the app if it's something like I'm gotta really see. But some
Well,
stuff goes by the
WWE
wayside, bro.
network
Some
was
stuff goes
huge.
past. Man.
Nah, bro, that was a great series. Like even now, it's like 10 years old at this point. It's like 10 years old at this point, but I would definitely recommend like going back and watching that. Roddy Piper,
Hillbilly Jim,
Pat Patterson,
Tony Atlas, Mr.
Hillbilly
USA.
Jim. Yeah, it was really yes.
All
And that
those
was like
guys
the
are
last
dead
thing
now,
I think
right?
Piper filmed before he died.
Well, I
A
don't
lot
know
of
if
them are.
Tony Atlas. I
Yeah,
don't know about Tony
that's pretty
Atlas,
bad.
but I think Howard Finkel may. I think Howard Finkel's no longer with us. I know
A lot
that.
of those guys on that show's died, though. You're
He's
naming
done.
some
Except for
famous
Hillbilly
ones.
Jim. Hillbilly Jim or
Yeah.
Jim Duggan, they're still around.
Yeah, Tony Atlas is
Jim.
still alive. Here's like
Yep.
this crazy foot fetish. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Mm.
Tony Atlas has an insane foot fetish he puts out there, and he also
I.
likes to get his ass beat by women. It's very crazy, but it's
Okay,
like
Well,
there.
public knowledge.
we do have wrestling marks on the show. This isn't a wrestling show.
I know,
Save it for
yeah.
another time.
But actually, going back to
Um,
But going back to the talk show things, like it fits
yeah,
to
I
say
do.
that.
I think I remember Phil Donahue having it was like a few wrestlers on there, like Roddy Piper was on
Hmm.
there, I
Yes.
believe.
Hmm. I
Doing
believe, yeah.
some things.
Yes, I
Maybe
believe.
Bret Hart.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I guess it's You also got to remember. I believe he also had Vince McMahon himself on the program. To address the allegations towards him and his company.
Damn.
Now, I also got to bring up a couple other talk shows that soon followed. Who cannot forget Geraldo Rivera?
Yeah, I remember Geraldo. Didn't really
Well,
watch it
that
like
was
again. That was a little
way.
bit
That
before
was
my
still way
time.
back. Yeah, it was way back before me and Paul Three's time,
Well,
though.
it
I
was in the
do
night.
see him on the. I see him on the political shows now, but I know he
Yep.
was big back in the day, like discuss when there were serial killers and stuff like that,
Yep,
right?
exactly. Who cannot forget the primetime specials like exposing Satan's underground, you know, trying to unlock Al Capone's secret vault, which he found nothing.
The Vault.
Oh
The
yeah,
Vault
and
was epic because there's nothing in it.
exactly about the same thing as these weapons of mass destruction Bush for the three spoke about a few
Oh,
times.
well, quick, Paul Three, is Trump gonna win coming up? I mean,
Oh,
calling it right now. If the thing was today, would Trump? If the vote was today, would Trump win in your opinion?
bro, I'm not so sure because poll numbers are all bullshit, and also it's hard to judge today because we didn't get a debate between these two yet. So we'll
Yeah.
see after September 10th when they have the first debate. We'll have more of an idea what things are like and kind of who's going to be leading and whatnot. Right now, it's all just up in the air. Different polls say this and that and this and that. So I'm not putting any credence into that right now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to Vegas and bet on it right now. You're not so
I don't.
confident.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is. It's a bit of a toss up just because you have all the hype right now around the Harris campaign. Just because like she got
Bro,
put
the
in there
Obamas were there
relatively
last
like
night. Bro, that's Dr. Brown's favorite president, Barack Obama. Brown.
Oh yeah,
he
right.
was,
Yeah, I
dude,
heard
Yeah.
about that.
he was
I didn't
shouting
even
on that
watch it. I
fucking
can't
TV
watch this
last
stuff,
night,
but
bro.
we'll get into politics on a later show.
Sometime a
But
show, yes, but back to the talk show stuff. You remember the situation on Geraldo Rivera's program where they had those neo Nazis and a whole fight broke out between one of the Nazis and Roy Ennis, the
well, if you
spokesperson
think,
for
Brian,
CORE.
if you think about it, they didn't really do politics on those '90s talk shows. Like that really
No,
wasn't
it was well most of the
compared to
90s.
now. Yeah.
Most of the content on those shows around the 1990s was mostly shock value. Things like when it is appropriate to do public displays of affection, or I want my wife to dress more sleazy. I want my girlfriend to be more sexually open.
Yes.
My boyfriend wants me to have bring in another girl into our relationship. Those kind of topics ruled the talk show circuits around the 1990s. And that was done basically to draw in viewers. Because back then, and I'll use another talk show host as an example, Rwanda Watts. It's basically what she started out as basically, how to fix the American budget or what's wrong with these systems in our schools. That kind of stuff never draws in any viewers. And plus, it's something that can never be solved overnight, let alone solved altogether. But when you had to switch to some of the topics I said earlier, that's when the ratings went up. People enjoy that kind of stuff because to them it's entertainment.
Well, I'm just gonna throw it out there just for the record. RFK, and I heard this morning. RFK is going to drop out on Friday and
Mm,
pledge to Trump,
mm.
and
We need
hopefully
that. We
he'll
need
be
that.
on the Trump. Hopefully he'll be on the cabinet. He wants to be in the same position his father was back in the day, which was what was that position, Trump?
Secretary of getting murdered.
Paul
Oh man.
Kennedy.
Oh jeez.
Dr. Brown, when you and another thing about these talk shows, keep in mind,
Hmm.
and this is important. Well, this is kind of like a question for Brown,
Yeah.
statement from me at the same time. So like most of these shows were on, like, you could in the 90s, I'm just thinking about maybe early 2000s, but definitely the 90s. There was you could, go into a car dealership and or something. And a lot of these places had TVs with antennas and just the local channels. But
Yep.
all these shows were on the lolocal channels, your CBS, Fox, Channel 11, Channel 6, Channel whatever your local.
Syndication as well.
Yes,
Yep.
you know. And I don't know. And the question is, what year, what era did cable TV become a thing? You know that?
When cable TV started.
Yeah, like when did cable TV start? Because
Well,
obviously in the
actually, from
90s,
I
like a lot of people
remember.
had antennas, antennas they had on
Well,
TVs. You could
from
have them
what
for
I
free.
remember, from what I may be correct or incorrect on this, but I'm thinking somewhere around 1980, because I remember we got cable television around 80, 81, 82. It was mostly in 1980. I remember that very well. Previous to that, there was a thing called On TV that was advertised on one of the local syndication series on the stations, I meant to say. And they had, it was like one of the first pay per view where you had to pay a certain amount of money to watch this movie, whether it's Heaven Can Wait or Rocky 2 or any other movie that was big at that time. But
Well,
that
and
was
so
how.
they had cable people back, like cable companies, cable men. They come by and
Yes,
like.
yep, exactly. Yep, that's how it was
Well, I
that
guess
back
like,
then.
hear me out, because I would say in the 2000s, maybe like 99, but more. I do remember more in like the early 2000s. Digital cable was the thing where like
Hmm.
they brought you these boxes,
Yep,
these digital receivers, and you plug it in
monitors as they're called.
stuff like that. But back in the day, I feel like, and especially apartment living from back in the day, if you were living in apartments in the 90s, early 2000s, they had the cable in the ground type shit, or in like
Yeah,
boxes outside, where a lot of people did rig their own cables. If you knew a cable guy or a former cable person, they were obviously, here's $50, hook it up to the cable. I mean, that's kind of how cable went on that. Universal Box, I guess the cable company,
hmm. I think YR's voice went out a little
and
bit there. There you
you
are.
know they hook it up to the Universal Box outside, and then but nowadays it's obviously digital receivers.
Hmm.
But mostly it's changing into these streaming services, the apps, and then a lot of TVs come with the apps already downloaded on the TV, so you
Yep,
don't
exactly.
necessarily, you know what I'm saying? It's
And on
very
your phones
easy.
as well.
And on the phone, damn it!
I
It's so easy to get cable.
know. We have. I have a neck. I have a
But
net.
but I would still there's still a part of me that, honestly, if I could choose to, hey, no big screen TVs, no cell phones. Let's just go back in the day where it's the smaller TVs. Let's go back in
Hmm.
the day where you're listening to a CD player,
Yep.
physical music, physical DVD, even DVDs were nice. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like, um,
VHSs
I would go back to that. It's better. It's better because there's a
back.
lot of stuff when stuff just goes on apps, movies or shows just
Physical
end
media.
up. Hello.
Oh,
Bro,
geez.
physical. Well, you're missing the point, bro. You're missing the fucking key word. The key word is physical media. We need to keep physical media alive because when everything's on apps and on the cloud, they can take it away just like that. Physical media is
That
what
is
you want to be fucking paying.
there's multiple points. That is a good point.
But the point I was trying to make, I mean, that's the obvious point, but like physical media, blah, blah, blah. But the point I'm making is there's so many apps out there. Yes, there's your major ones that lead, your Netflixes, your Hulus. But there is a lot out there that when stuff gets released, it can go by the wayside because it's not advertised as much, maybe, or, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff people miss out on because it's all on these apps when back in the day, and now there's still stuff on cable. I mean, honestly, the only reason to have cable TV is sports, live sports, and like the news is cool if you're into that or whatever, like
Yeah.
political news, different ones, I guess. Not, I mean, really just Fox News is pretty cool, but you got to have some type of live media news. I mean, you got that stuff on YouTube, but
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, like.
But there's other
And
things
look,
like
cable TV is slowly, kind of slowly, but in a fast way, it is,
dying out.
it is dying out. The cable companies really, their main thing is selling you the Wi-Fi, and then a lot of cable companies getting into smartphone service now, cell phone service now, because cable TV. I mean, it is pricey, but like, the apps add up too. Oh, $10 here, $10 there. I mean, it adds up. You have to. You got to be aware, man, that apps too that play cable TV. Essentially, like those cable TV networks aren't ever gonna die per se. Your Foxes, your CBSs, your MTVs, your True TVs, TBSs, Nickelodeons, like, but you can see where most of them have gone to their own app services. A lot of these companies have gone through, and a lot of companies owned by other companies.
Yep.
Disney owns a lot of
Every-
channels and stuff around. So
You own everything, basically, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel.
Paul 3's fixing to spend like 3 to 4 times as much at the grocery store. He's going in for $75 worth of items. He's fixing to drop like $350.
Oh shit.
Bro, you're not lying though, man. Everything is so expensive. I try and get that shit on rollback.
Bro, a bag of chips, you can't even get a bag of chips, bro. A bag of chips is like ridiculous, like a meal. Come on.
Well, I got to prove you wrong on that one because they have a sale on chips right now for $2 a bag. So I mean,
if you can find the sales,
is it the store brand?
If you can do the sales.
Most like
vinegar. Yeah, fuck that shit. That vinegar bullshit. No, come on, bro.
It's lightly salted, bro. It's lightly salted.
Nah,
I don't fuck with
like
the vinegar.
Your chips and like
salt and vinegar. That's what you're talking about.
Nail polish remover. Brown, you want to drink some nail polish remover and eat some chips or what?
Hell, no, what the fuck?
That's what vinegar tastes like. It's like nail polish remover. I hate the smell of vinegar, bro. It's gross.
Oh gosh, yo.
Yeah, because if it's not chicken nuggets or smiley fries, you're not going to eat it. Why are you fucking 12-year-old?
You know what? I've been eating Chipotle a lot.
Everybody has some pizza and be happy with it, okay? Let's go with that. Okay, so guys, let me ask this one question.
Did Phil Donahue pass away of cancer? What did he die of?
It didn't say what he died from, but it just said, mention.
What did he die of, Dr. Brown? Did
it doesn't say. No, it didn't mention that.
All right.
Don't yell.
Nah, I thought you said what?
His wife.
No, it does. It never.
Marlo Thomas. His wife Marlo Thomas actually runs the St. Jude. I don't know if you guys know St. Jude.
Yes, I heard of that. Yes.
Charity thing.
Yeah,
she runs that. She used to be smoking back in the day, but man, she's old as fuck now and got all kind of like facial surgery, so she's kind of gross.
That is the best charity if you want to donate is to St. Jude, I believe.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like that's one of the legit ones that like.
The only charity I've ever donated to is Joe Cronin.
Well, no, it's I mean, essentially, it's children.
But when did Joe Cronin become a charity? He's a charity case, yeah, baby.
No,
but
this is not a drama show. We don't have to shit on family men trying to make money for their kids. this is serious right now. Like, Brown, you know how it is in the world and everything. Like
Yeah.
these talk show hosts. That's why everything's political nowadays. It's just pretty much like The View. I don't even think Wilkos is still. Is Wilkos still doing new shows or no?
Yes,
It's all
he is.
rerun.
I guess he's in his 15th or
Yeah.
16th season right now. And he mostly tackles, cheating allegations and molestation allegations. That's his main thing. That's the main stuff that draws in. And because, of course, Wilkos, a former police officer for 12 years in the Chicago PD, he has a lot of background on what to look for, and when someone says something, the facial expressions that that person that they're talking to is given. I guess he's a big one right now because he tries to get the job done. He tries to be the voice for the voiceless, helping those who need help the most. Like say, Paul 3. Suppose you're accused of doing something atrocious to this person or that person, and when you actually never did. The result is to have you and the accusers on stage, airing out what's going on, how this came about. But before the show airs, before you all get on stage, you are required to take a polygraph test. The man behind that, his name is Dan Ripikoff, and he's done polygraph tests for the FBI, various police departments. He's an expert on it, and he's often brought in to give an analyzation on this test and how it went down. And we usually, what it is usually either you pass or you fail. And of course, who knows what happens afterwards? What they had done a few times is they send the results to the police department investigating the case. And I guess we do occasionally get updates on how this person is doing, what if this person got locked
Yeah.
up or that person got locked up. So in a lot of ways, Steve Wilkos deserves a round applause for the content he provides because it's not just a TV show; it's also a problem solver.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, Wilkos was probably the most, and I would throw like a Sally Jesse in there. Like, I mean, I feel like even Jerry Springer, all those shows, the people that were on the shows, like they were real people and real situation, perhaps. But I feel like they were also maybe compensated and told, hey, make a big deal out of it, like you're on
Yeah.
TV.
Well, I know the one that made the biggest deal was, of course, Jerry Springer because of all the fights that go on stage, left and right. Whether it's this guy versus that guy or this girl that versus that girl. In fact, here's something else I got to tell you. Jerry Springer was originally first broadcasted on one of the syndicated local TV stations. I think it may have been Channel 4, if I remember. Yeah, it was, definitely. And they placed the show at about 4 in the afternoon.
What?
They did, exactly. And a lot of people were complaining about that because kids would come home after school, they would watch the Jerry Springer show, and it would start to imitate what goes on the shows. Kids are like that, so they
I
had to move
definitely
it.
did. That's for
So
sure.
they had
Home in America. You're right. Just like wrestling, just like
yeah,
professional wrestling.
yes, exactly.
And look,
So
a lot of honestly, like I'm gonna tell you something. Right? Don't be anyone listening. Blah blah blah. Don't be offended because I'm telling you not to be offended. I'm just giving you a heads up. In my honest opinion, of Paul 3, you can probably look this up and find out some articles on it. But I mean, like you were saying, trying stuff at home. Do not try this at home and wrestling.
yep,
A lot of kids, maybe back in the day or even now, try something, get injured, and get autism, brain injuries,
not
get.
autism, but not man,
Oh
you're
man.
been on that word like crazy. It's not
Well, not,
autism.
not
It's about
bending it, like
injured.
well,
Broken
just
arms, broken legs, cracked necks, busted up shoulders, messed up spines.
when there's no mental CTE. Perhaps maybe I'm using the
No,
wrong
it's
word.
just
More
the
like
idea.
CTE.
Well, the idea is that they see the other people do it and get away with it on the TV set, and they figure, hey, let's try this ourselves, you know? Monkey see, monkey do. That's basically what it is. It doesn't matter if it's autism or Asperger's or whichever. You perfectly be completely normal. They just see it as a kid and figure, hey, it's okay for them to do it. It's okay for us to do it. But then it gets the same thing when they see their mom and dad doing something upsetting, whether smoking, drinking, cussing at one another. Kids are going to pick up on that.
Well, that's the generation I grew up in. Is there was no fucking holds bar. I kind of everything was crazy. You had the Attitude Era. You had Jerry Springer. We were all doing wrestling moves on each other. Everybody was saying "suck it" to fucking
Yeah.
teachers. I mean, shit was crazy back then, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's the fact there were a lot of remarks saying, Jay used to call Jerry Springer's program the Jerry Springer Wrestling Federation a couple of times because it's like almost a wrestling match for the word ago. But eventually,
Yeah, it was brutal.
the local station, by the way, go back to Jerry Springer being on at 40 afternoon. They did decided to move it to a different time slot, early afternoon, while the kids are at school. But you remember all the all the
That is
people,
true.
Brian,
yeah,
that is a great
Sure.
point.
yeah,
That's a good
because
point.
and plus here's something else, I got to point this out.
Daytime TV.
But here's something else I need to point out. A lot of times these people who complain, these advocates, they complain about the content on these talk shows. They want these talk shows removed. They want this show removed. When they complain about these programs, they're actually giving that show ratings because you know how the curiosity, it creeps up on the individual. They will hear about this, they want to find out for themselves.
That's like Howard Stern, bro. Like everybody,
Exactly. Or Morton
people
Downey
loved
Jr. Remember
Howard Stern. Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember Morton Downey Jr.? I used to watch him religiously every day. He used to come on 4 in
A
the
little bit.
afternoon. Yeah, because I used to
I know
watch
because
his
he
con.
smoked cigarettes.
Yeah, he smoked a lot. He quit after having one of his lungs removed, and apparently cancer came up to him and just took his life. But then again, I remember.
He smoked on the show.
Yep, he did. Yes, this was when.
What?
Yep, he did. This was when it was okay to smoke inside TV studios. It was okay to smoke inside restaurants, concert venues. This was
Wait,
when it
Paul
was
3,
okay.
and you know about this guy? Are you fucking kidding me, Paul 3? You know about this guy?
I don't mean to bring it back to wrestling, but he was on. I'm pretty sure he came to WrestleMania or something like
Yep,
that. And blew smoke in his face.
Piper's Pit,
Piper.
Roddy Piper, and Brother Love, Bruce Pritchard.
Brother.
Yeah, he blew smoke in his face, and it was
Yeah,
a whole thing.
exactly. And
That's how I remember.
Piper retaliated by putting him out with a fire extinguisher right in his face.
Yep.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
Yep, that's what I remember from Morton Downey Jr. I never saw the show though because
Oh, I
again,
saw
I
it a
was
lot of
a
times.
little too young.
I know a lot of times he did a couple performance tapings at the Orchestra Hall back in Detroit. I remember watching those episodes. They were talking about the Tawana Brawley case with Reverend Al Sharpton years before he joined MSNBC when he lost all that weight. I know he had other people on the show. I guess one episode they had where they had Ace Frehley, the great cat who was a female singer and guitarist. They were talking about commercialization and rock and roll. They were talking about other things. In fact, they even had pro wrestling was one of their topics. Is it fake? Is it real? In fact, one of the guys he had on was Dr. D. David Schultz. I'm sure you remember that name.
Absolutely.
Yes,
he
and
slapped John Stossel.
in both ears, and he ended up getting booted from the WWF for defending the business. So guess what he's doing now? He's a bounty hunter.
No shit.
Yes, he is. He still does it to this very day. In fact, they had a special on bounty hunters, and Dr. D was one of the guests as well. And this is way before Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yo. Let's see that basket real quick, Paul 3.
Sure. You got. He's like a fucking camera. The camera.
See what this guy's.
Mm.
You got
Paul
some
3 is a real
Intamin's
American.
Chrome
Yep.
King,
Yeah.
some fucking Lay's.
Ah, good
You got
watch.
some
Good choice.
lemonade, Ben and Jerry's. Got some chocolate muffins, cat treats. Got
Nice.
some hummus for my
You have a cat?
for the
You fuck
Palestinian
your cat like
brothers.
JD?
Yeah, only twice a week, not 3 times like JD. So what do you think about hummus, YR? Since it's kind of like a
Ew.
Palestinian thing, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Hell no. It's not American.
You don't
It's not
support
American. I
Palestine?
don't want it. Right, Dr. Brown?
What is it again?
Hummus. Oh, you never had hummus?
Hummus.
Oh.
I don't think I've heard of it. No.
Basically the creators of Hamas.
Oh, fuck
That's
those.
what they eat is hummus.
Oh, fuck that.
It's like a terrorist. It's like a terrorist jelly, terrorist jam. Smuckers for Arabs. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like a good name for a band. The Terrorist
It's
Jellies.
fucking hilarious. Cash, no card. Are you guys doing card or whatever? You have cash. Oh. Okay, we'll go here. Cash. Yeah, I'm an American. I carry cash still.
What?
Well, you don't carry cash anymore, though?
I do.
I used to not, but I always have cash on me nowadays, just in case you never know when you're going to need it.
Paul 3, you got band practice today or what?
YR doesn't have cash or card. Dude, I have band practice, and we have a legend of the Pittsburgh music, the radio scene actually coming up today.
What?
We're going to be filming a bunch of content with her, which is crazy. Yeah, she's been in Pittsburgh for like, I don't know how long, 30 fucking years, bro. She's an icon in this area. But
Oh, nice.
she was the band coming up to me to film content. Yeah, I'm getting my food and all kind of shit there and have it home.
Right.
That's how you do it. But right now I'm at Walmart just picking up other things.
I see
I'm
there.
also an American, I shop at Walmart.
Dr. Brown.
Yeah.
Dr. Brown, when did you get into Jerry Springer?
Well, I heard about it a couple of times in the past. I know there was a thing on the E channel called Talk Soup, where Greg Kinnear would review the highlights of talk show, this talk show, where it's Ricky Lake, Charlie Rose, Larry King when he was still functioning, and one of them was Richard Bay and Jerry Springer.
Dude, I haven't heard of Talk Soup in so long, man. That show was that was a pretty big show.
It was, absolutely, it was. And it's sad that Kinnear left but then again, there are other places. I guess he's now a well-known actor, I guess, on various movies, but we haven't heard or seen from him that much since that.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Greg Kinnear.
Let's not forget Late Night with Greg Kinnear after Bob Costas left.
Yeah, that's true. Greg
Which,
Kinnear,
by the way, respect to Bob Costas, because I enjoyed watching his talk show. He'd straight up interview whoever it was, whether it's David Crosby or this musician, or in fact, I think there's a one of where he interviewed Ozzy Osbourne. I should probably look it up sometime.
Costas was kind of an asshole, though. You can really and McMahon. He was like attacking him all the time.
Mm.
Now we know her, right? But back then, Costa came off with Fox.
Wow. Now, I want to bring up a little something here, and this
You ever see those interviews with Vince McMahon?
I did, yes, I remember the yes. Now, here's something I need to bring up this interesting subject from the 1995 year. Jenny Jones. You remember Jenny Jones, right?
Definitely remember that name for sure.
Oh yeah, Dad. Now I'm sure you remember this case, which this this was back in 1995. It was an episode that never aired because of what happened afterwards, and I think you know where I'm going from this. What happened is that it was supposed to be a show called Secret Crushes, where this person comes on the show to tell this other person they have a crush on them. Now, one of the people involved was a guy from Lapeer, Michigan, John Schmidt. He was told that it was possibly a female that has a crush on him, so he came on the air. It was set up by a friend of his named Donna, and it turns out the person who had a crush on John Schmidt was a male, Scott Adamir, who was an openly gay man. He was also friends with Schmidt, but yet deep down he had these sexual fantasies in mind when it came to Schmidt. He revealed some of those fantasies on the show, and Schmidt was kind of trying to laugh it off, ha ha ha. And but deep down inside, he was not too thrilled about the whole thing. In fact, when he got back to Michigan, he was harassed, teased, taunted by the coworkers at the restaurant that he worked at. He was a waiter. A lot of people were started mocking him, and apparently, from what I've heard, Adamir just apparently would not leave Schmidt alone. In fact, he was leaving little things on his doorstep, Schmidt's doorstep, and I guess Schmidt had enough. He went up to Adamir's place, knocked on the door. Scott opens up and was met with 2 bullets in his chest. Now, of course, Schmidt was later put on trial. The whole talk show circuit got put on blast. In fact, you may remember this guy, Jeffrey Feiger, a very respected Michigan lawyer. He was saying these talk shows put people in uncompromising and uncomfortable positions on purpose to get ratings. Now, Jenny Jones herself was even brought in to testify. And get this, all the 3 major local news networks broadcasted live that whole testimony. But they didn't broadcast any of the other testimonies from this witness or that witness or this question from this defense attorney or this ADA. Just Jenny Jones was broadcast live, but of course, obviously, she was the main focus of the whole trial. She was the one that was being, as I said, put on blast. But, a lot of times that has happened, according to some sources. And also, I believe, if I understand, I think some of the segments on the Maury Povich show may have been pre-planned just as well. For instance, one of the guests they had, who went by the name of Simone, she's trying to figure out which baby daddy is the father of her son because she slept with this person, that person, this person, that person, 12 men all together, and each one turned out to be not the father. Apparently what it was is that, she also appeared on another show talking about, oh, I prefer to date men outside my race. And she went under, of course, a different name. So by chance, some of these people that are on those previous shows, like Maury or Ricky Lake or whichever there, Jerry Springer, they probably just picked out who were looking for some, they're basically kids who are probably looking for some acting gig, hoping they'll get noticed and get signed to a movie or TV deal in the near future. In fact, that went on with Jerry Springer. there was a segment that aired on MTV's spring break season there, and that turned out to have been pre-planned. Hello, is everybody there? By chance, guys? Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. We're letting you
Okay.
go. We're listening.
Okay. I heard us. I thought everybody went mute for a second there, but also let's.
Hello,
I'm
Paul
here,
3.
dude. Don't do that.
Paul
No.
3, fucking prickhead. You done with your grocery shopping, little woman?
He is because
I
he's
just
in the
got
car
done with
right
my
now.
grocery shopping, and my van was being plugged on the #1 radio station in the area, so I was trying to listen to that, but I missed it. But
Oh well. Yeah, he's muted right now so that noise doesn't
Now,
interfere with our conversation.
have you ever ripped the crotch out of your jeans? Like, how the fuck
Oh
does this
gosh.
happen? How do you fix that?
Um,
You have a big penis.
Well, how do you fix that?
is there a clothing alteration place near where you live?
I don't know if I need to take it somewhere. These are just like a pair of jeans, but I really don't want to lose them. But like, is there like a patch you can get for that? Like, what the fuck, bro? Come on.
Just use it for just like just work clothes. I don't know.
Maybe
Let my
so.
cocks hang out at work and shit. Let my balls hang
Well,
out at
have
work.
Nah, like you got to fix your toilet and you got to put on some pants real quick. Just put those on.
yeah.
You got to paint around the house. You got to paint the wall. You put those on. Right, Brown? You
Well,
put like older
basically,
clothes on.
get a patch and have it put for the inside so nobody would notice.
Look at
What?
that. What the fuck, bro? Fucking Chinese fucking
God thinks
clothes.
he's like Kurt Cobain now or something with ripped jeans.
Fucking
Come on,
China,
bro.
dude. If I could go to the sweatshop where these fucking things were made, I'd throw that little Chinese bastard right out the fucking window. Fucker.
Oh, dude.
We do
Get
like
back to the-
Chinese here, right, Brown? Come on, man.
We do, yes.
But they make everything though. They make all your clothes and they make all your fucking shoes, and most of the time it's a lot of
Nah,
kids.
you got to get Levi's, brother. American made.
Or American Eagle. This,
Dude, $70 a pair of pants. Go fuck yourself. I ain't paying that.
Dr. Brown,
Yeah.
what were you doing? What were you doing at when you made that video this morning? It was real early in the morning. What time was it?
the vlog I did last night. That was around a little after 12 a.m.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. And of course, you got the content. Next week, Arknoia will be back.
Wow.
Yes, he'll be back. Next week. He told me directly.
Been a while, but it's been a
I know
while.
that, and we're looking forward to having him back. And definitely, Paul 3 are invited to be on us when us three get back together on the air there.
Appreciate that.
Didn't Sally Jesse Raphael? Did she pass away?
No, I think she's still alive, if I understand her.
But you're right. The Jenny Jones show, Ricky Lake, they were all good. But like, honestly, some of it does get kind of hokey at times. Like you don't know what to believe. You don't know what's real.
Exactly, because so many they go for the most cheesiest of topics, like the ones I mentioned earlier about, like my boyfriend dresses like nutbag, or my girlfriend
My
dresses too
boyfriend wears my
sleazy,
panties or something.
something of that order. Yes. But then again, like I said earlier, that stuff is done as entertainment to draw in the viewers, to provide, something laughable, something fun to watch. Because the basic reason is because so many people are fed up with hearing about how to fix the budget for high schools, or how to handle high school bullies, or how to handle this situation going on with this old government, that branch of government. It gets tiresome. It gets never ending. So they have to come up with something, to draw in the viewers. Like I said, Rwanda Watts had to do that. In fact, Jerry Springer, when he first started his talk show circuit, it was basically talk about this situation, that situation. In fact, one episode, Peter Steele from Typo Negative made an appearance on that show, talking about rock and roll groupies. That was the subject of that one episode.
Now, I don't mean to change the subject. I'm not really sticking on the topic of all this, but one we're forgetting about, because I have to go here in a minute, but one we're forgetting about is Dr. Phil. And if you remember Dr. Phil and
Yep.
the Catch Me Outside girl,
Daniel
that girl,
Barogi.
I think her name was like
Ooh.
Danielle Bergoli. She's
Yep.
like a
Yes.
multimillionaire at this point,
Yes,
like
she's
releasing
a
music
rap.
and everything. So I mean,
Yep, she's a
sometimes
rapper. She's
these
now
shows can
known as
start
Bad
careers.
Baby. That's her rap name, Bad Baby. And what she is, how many followers on Instagram? You know, the former Twitter, now known as X. She has a
Yeah,
lot.
Scott wanted to fuck her. She was like 12 and he was like 28 or something.
Oh, dude.
Remember that one?
Oh,
Remember that
gosh.
one, brothers?
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, we're going back in the time machine of the community, brother.
You're about to get doxxed, bro.
Listen, Family Man now, he's not in this community. He'll never come back. He has no interest.
Wow.
Guys, guys,
Wow.
a daughter and a son and twins on the way. I mean, he's full-fledged family man in 2024.
Yeah,
brother.
but is it with the same woman?
It
He's
is well,
sober
it's with
now.
it is with multiple women. I mean, he.
Okay, that said, if Maury Povich was still on the air, definitely get him up on the.
We can get Scott on Maury Povich with his see he
DNA
likes these
test.
women that are like.
We also got to talk
hands up
about
and they-
Maury.
No!
Dude.
Yeah, like Dr. Brown, Scott's girlfriends and his ex-wives, they're like these Canadian chicks that wear like MAGA hats. You know what I'm saying? Like they wear
really?
they got these you know them chicks that wear the tennis shoes, brother.
Mm-hmm. Which ones? The white ones?
Flip-flops. White tennis shoes, Dr. Brown. Would you ever date a chick with white tennis shoes?
Not really. I don't know. It all depends. All depends what else she's wearing. If it's going to be just a typical preppy attire that some of these chicks and guys wear, forget it.
Paul 3's all scared that I mentioned Scott. Come on, Paul. Relax.
Yeah. Well, actually, we also got to talk about Maury Povich because,
Go ahead.
the man definitely, there are so many compilations of You Are Not the Father that are out there here on YouTube. It's unbelievable. In fact, let me plug this person's channel, Ray. He has these videos. You Are Not the Father, number 12, number 13, number 14. Has a lot of them, and most of them are these women who are trying to get support, child support for their children. They're trying to pin this person as being the father, that guy being as the father, and it turns out that they're not the father. And a lot of the comments of these clips are like, can't these women take responsibility for their actions? Can't they keep their legs closed? But then again, you got to remember, some of these kids are in their early 20s or their early or later teens. And you got to remember, around that time, you got raging ass hormones creeping up on you, provoking you to go bang this chick, bang this guy, hop in the sack with this person, that person. So a lot of times people forget, they're so caught up in the moment that they forget the important aspects, like safe sex. They get preggers, and next thing you know, they need child support, so they try to pin the baby on this person. They're thinking maybe it's that guy, until they find out it's not. Then they have to start all over. And there are a few episodes where the guy turns out to be the father of this child, even though he denied it in the previously past. But then again, a lot of these guys are kind of scared to take on fatherhood at such a young age. And these are guys, like I said, in their early 20s. But Povich is like considered the master of the DNA cases because his show had so many of them in the past. In fact, here, let me go into this record to talk about this. There were other episodes when he drifted away from the drama, from the DNA issues, and he also
Yeah.
focused on, other issues like what's going on with these teenagers of today making called booty calls. That's when we first heard the term. They would contact one another, they would hook up at a particular spot, her home, his home, and they just plain out have sex. And they were doing this all under the age of 18. Why? Because they learned it from everything else around them. Advertising, movies, soap operas. God knows how many times we see this guy in bed with this girl on either this show or that show, and they figure, oh wow, wonder what it's like to do that. And then they find out, and next thing you know, boom, something happens along the way that's not too good. Of course, a lot of these kids, as I stated, they're a lot more young, they're dumb, they're wild, they're all over the place, they want to live, they want to party, and it's just, boom. We've seen that scenario played out many times before. But all in all, when you think about it, a lot of these talk shows have now died down. It's now Steve Wilkos, Camaro. We got all the other shows on Fox News Network, MSNBC, other programs, CNN. I think they still have some talk shows on their well, most of them are political. We all know that. That's for sure. That's the main thing. But either way, guess it fits to say that the talk show circuit kind of died down because people were complaining about the content and everything else, or it's just it was about to die down either way. Plus, there were so many that were out there, including Tempest Bestow, one of the co-stars of the Cosby Show. She had a talk show rolling it for a while there, short while I should say.
Well, nowadays, like you said, I think is it pretty much only Steve Wilkos?
Well,
That's
I'm not too sure because, like I said, I don't have a TV in my room, and plus I'm working most of the time, so I haven't been really paying touch to what's on the tube as of late during the early daytime. But if it's to say, and I'm going by various clips on the Facebook video section here on YouTube, that I guess if it's to say, probably the outstanding one in my opinion, of course, had to be Steve Wilkos, as I said, because of the content he provides. As I said, he's an investigative talk show host who tries to get to the bottom of this matter, that matter, try to get results on who did what to who, how did this came about, seeking justice for those who are unable at that point to get justice for themselves. It's
I am looking. I'm getting the news together for the music show.
okay.
We'll record after this one.
Okay.
Right now, but to finish up on. Did we get a final update on Donahue's cause of death, or how long
Okay.
he was sick, or if he was sick, or was
Let me
what
look
happened
it
there?
up right now at this point there. Phil Donahue, cause of death. Like I said, it was sad that he's gone. And let me see here. What happened to Phil Donahue? He died Sunday and at the age of 88. It was provided to ABC News by representative for his wife of 44 years, Mario Thomas. And let's see. Cause of death. Let me look out here.
Oh well, that's neat. Well.
Well, it says an undisclosed illness.
Let's
That's
do
what it
this
said.
then.
Okay.
Let's do.
We'll do the music news, but for the topic, and we need to do this, we need to pay tribute to Jack Russell. Because
Okay, yes, we
this
gotta talk
happened,
about that.
this
Yes.
happened when we got off air last week. The
Yeah,
news
sweet
came out.
man. Wow.
So that's when Jack Russell passed last week. We got off air and that happened, and so yeah, we should do a Jack Russell based show talking about that, talking about obviously the event, the fiery event that happened, just all about Great White, and have a Jack Russell based
Yes,
show. We
definitely.
can throw some news in there. Really,
Rest in peace.
there's not much huge news that surpasses Jack Russell, honestly.
Yes,
So
exactly. All right, there.
In the house of broken love. Yeah.
Good song,
rest
by
in
the
peace,
way.
bro.
All right, there.
Shame.
So definitely, we're gonna end this.
hey, can we?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Paul 3, are you gonna how long do you still have with us on Skype? Can you be with us for the Jack Russell show? We're fixing to record it right now. We're good to go?
I'm pretty good right now. Yeah, I'm pretty good right now, actually.
All right,
All right,
good, good.
guys. So, Dr. Brown.
We'll be back. Okay, we're gonna leave this out. Thank you, Phil Donahue, for all the great content that you provided for us Americans and everyone outside the world on your various seasons of your talk show circuit. And brother, you will be missed. Thank you very much, Phil. For myself, Paul 3 and YR, peace out, everybody. Let me give it a while.
That was nice.
It was.
Got the good top, bro. Like, we